Hey everyone, it's John here from Hot Take Hockey, back with another video. Got to talk about the Seattle Kraken and Toronto Maple Leafs being perfect trade partners. I know I've talked a lot about rumors on this channel. Some people get frustrated, some people like them. I just enjoy talking about them, to be honest, and I like talking about the potential rumors and good fits. And you know what? We talk about 3, 4, 5 different scenarios. Hopefully one of them ends up becoming true. And I honestly look at last year where I did talk about a lot of players and potential destinations. A lot of them were fairly accurate. So I'm going to continue talking about it this year, talk about it with different teams, not just the Leafs, but obviously my passion, big time with the Leafers. We'll see what they can do going into the deadline. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be one defenseman, maybe two. But not many people have talked about the forward target. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet. This is from, I'll call him T-Dot on Twitter. And Bjorkstrand being a potential target for the Leafs through a trade with the Kraken. The Kraken haven't, reached expectations from some fans maybe. I mean, I thought they were going to be a kind of on the border, on the outskirts, maybe a wild card team, maybe a third division spot team, but that's probably their ceiling, right? So just looking at that, maybe the Kraken or the Leafs targeting a defenseman or forward from the Kraken. I kind of listed some options here. Borgen, Larson, Alexiak on defense, Bjorkstrand or Yanni Gourde at forward. I mean, Yanni Gourde, we saw how valuable he was in the series for Tampa leading to the Cups. And I mean, Bjorkstrand, if you look at it, he was electric in the playoffs last year for Seattle, and he's always been a consistent two-way guy who puts up 20, 25 goals. So they also connected Wenberg. I was also seeing something about Justin Schultz. So there's just a lot of players on the Kraken that maybe the Leafs could look at, and there's been recent trade history where the Leafs acquired Giordano from the Kraken. So I could see one of these guys, and my preference would be Larson, probably just be the experience, and his cap hit's not too bad at $4 million. I think Borgen's underrated though. 6'3", right shot guy. He's been a plus player, physical. I think one of these two would be the benefit. Alexiak is huge as well and physical, but maybe a higher risk player, and he's also left shot. So I think you'd probably be looking at one of these two guys for the Leafs to target. And then just going through some things that were sent to me. A couple of these are mine, I think. But yeah, this one is actually mine. So I don't think this is realistic, and I go back and forth on Liljegren. I want Liljegren to stay with the Leafs ideally. So if it ends up being like Niemela in one of these trades, which would be a tough one to give up, you're getting Bjorkstrand and two defensemen with term. And if Brodie's in this deal, which some Leaf fans want, I think it could make sense just because of the fit. But say you take out Borgen out of this, take out Brodie, the Kraken might be down without Grubauer for a bit. So maybe they could take a chance on Samsonov, cap hit go the other way, and then the Leafs get a goalie somewhere else for insurance. But if Martin Jones keeps playing the way he has, I mean, the Leafs could lose Samsonov and not be the end of the world. I do want to make this point very clear. I don't forget, but many fans do forget. Samsonov was the guy to win the Leafs a first-round series. I do want to make that clear. So I'm not giving up on Samsonov quite yet, but I'm just talking about these scenarios where it's like, okay, if you're gonna go out and acquire a defenseman and Samsonov's cap hit is what's keeping you back, you might consider moving it. So I would love to see a defense group like this. Riley Larson, McKay Borgen, Liljegren, Benoit, Timmins is the 7th guy, Giordano is the 8th guy. Like, that's depth. Of course, Timmins to be in the lineup is great, but I compare Timmins to a guy like Eric Gustafsson last year for the Leafs. He can be a 7th guy, and he's been like that in the past with other teams. If you need more offense in a certain game, Timmins can step in. But if you want more of a defensive, if you're in a series where you really need defensive hockey, and I would say like this would be the defense group to have against Tampa, these 6 guys. But if you're playing a team like Florida, Timmins could have benefited the Leafs big time against Florida, especially on the breakouts and just needing more offense from your defense group. I mean, you saw it in, I think it was game 3 against Florida. Eric Gustafsson had the huge play to put the Leafs on the board. And realistically, the Leafs probably should have won that game. So I just look at a scenario like that where you might need offense, Timmins goes in. I would be very happy if the Leafs did something like that. I've talked about it, right? When we were talking about Larson and, Tanev and Zadorov, having like Tanev next to Riley and then Zadorov next to McCabe on the second or third pair. So there's many scenarios, but I mean, also this would be so cool. Getting Bjorkstrand to fill out this top 9. I mean, imagine having on one line Matthews, another line Tavares, Nylander, another line Marner. I mean, the Marner-Domi chemistry, I've been manifesting it, guys. I want to see it so bad. So Marner-Domi, if that could work, you got Robertson or Nyes on that line, and then the other one on the other line. And then I think you just keep running. Bertuzzi, Tavares, Nylander has had some electric games. So if that can work. There's also other scenarios where I mean, I don't want to lose Fraser Minton in any deal, but these are all just fun scenarios here. But yeah, you know what? I will say this. Fraser Minton's value's probably gone up big time for many reasons. He made it out of training camp, made the Leafs out of camp. Number 2, he made the World Junior team. And number 3, there's been so many rumors and talk out there that Minton is untouchable. So for other teams, if that's kind of what's going around, they see when they're talking to Trey Living as Minton being untouchable. So if Minton ends up getting thrown into a trade package, that value skyrockets, and the Leafs could probably get a couple big pieces if they used Minton in that deal. So like I said, if they got like a Bjorkstrand and Adam Larsson, I think you're talking about like the Leafs going from playoff contender to finally this team is like complete to complete. You need a guy like Larsson to really complement that top 4. And I've talked about the size, but you look at Vegas, I know people have been hammering that down. If you have mobile defensemen averaging around 6'3" in height, you are going to be successful, especially if your offense is as electric as Toronto's is, and if your goaltending can hold up. If Joe Woll can be the guy for Toronto, you're talking about success coming. And again, that's maybe me manifesting it, but I really think if you can get a guy like Adam Larsson in, who's so underrated. I think both Larsson and Borgen are 2 of the most underrated defensemen in the league. They don't get talked about. Larsson is as good of a shutdown guy as there is. Obviously, I think Tanev is probably, when he's healthy, a little bit more of an upgrade, but he's also older. So, yeah, I mean, if you could get Tanev and Larsson, I think those are the 2 guys you get, and then you cycle Liljegren and Timmins in the lineup. I mean, that would be the dream scenario. But we'll see what happens, guys. Give me your thoughts. Does TJ Brodie stay on the team? Does Samsonov stay on the team? Both are pending UFAs, so there's the conversation of that. If you ride it out, and then, of course, the big conversation we'll continue to have, William Nylander and his pending UFA status. So subscribe, like, comment, notification bell. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.